Namaskaram, Swami. The other day you had mentioned that thought is very necessary for one to take any action. Sometimes I feel the action I've taken is based on a thought that's not mine. Is that possible for someone to plant a thought in my mind, making me think it's mine?
None of your thoughts are yours. None of your thoughts are really yours, please see. Thought is something that you generate from implanted information, all kinds of things hitting you. The way you think right now depends on what kind of family you were born in, what kind of parents you had, what kind of education, what kind of society, what kind of social backgrounds, religious backgrounds, and all these things deciding how you think. Yes or no? For sure, isn't it? So how can you say it is your thought? All kinds of people are working. Can somebody plant a thought? Definitely. Definitely, yes. If you're talking about someone consciously wanting to plant a thought in you, is that possible? Very much possible. But you shouldn't get into this mode, because every time you do something wrong, you will think, somebody planted this in my Even if you let somebody plant it in your head, it is still your doing, isn't it? Yes? You let somebody plant a thought in you, that is also your doing, isn't it? Oh, somebody planted a thought in my head, what can I do? People are going about this has become a fashion everywhere. This is an Indian thing. When Indians got very affluent many generations ago, and they got naturally lazy, they came to this, God willing. Anything you ask them, they'll say, God willing. God willing, I will get up. Who knows when goddamn God is willing? If I do it, God was willing. If I don't do it, He's not willing. This is a horrible trick. But it goes on in the world. Everything that matters to them, anyway they will do. If you ask something, they'll say, God willing. Yes? Will they say, if God willing, I will have my dinner? No, they will eat. If you say, can I have dinner? They'll say, God willing. So, can we plant a thought? Definitely we can. In fact, we can plant a whole philosophy into you if you want. Why just a thought? A whole series of thought, a complex series of thought we can plant into your head. But there are different ways of planting a thought. There are dark ways of doing it. There are straight ways of doing it. There are other ways of doing it where a thought is not planted. You are made to think in a certain way, purely for your well-being. This needs to be done. Otherwise, you will just scatter yourself all over the place and spend your life without any purpose, without getting anywhere. The dark ways of doing it involves various dark arts through which they will plant negative thoughts in your head, where you will work for your own destruction. The straight ways of doing it or the school teacher's way, they're trying to tell you, this is better, this is better, this is better, you know. constantly, or the marketing manager's way. The Coca-Cola, the real thing, the real thing, the real thing, the real thing. Now you say the real thing. If I say the real thing, you'll say Coke. Everywhere it's written around the world, real thing. So, that is just by repetition. It's straight. If you want, you can reject it. With the first one, if you're vulnerable in some way, you have no choice, it will anyway enter your life. The last way of doing it will happen only if you're willing, open and receptive. Otherwise, that person who does the last way of putting thoughts into you is not even interested in doing such things. Only if you are willing, open and you want to go in a certain way, but you do not have the necessary grit to hold on to something that you need to do, then a thought can be implanted in you in a different way. So, if you're talking about negative thoughts being implanted into you, all you have to do is bring some simple meditation or something where your system gets organized in such a way that these things cannot affect you. Or you must carry something with you which will create a certain cocoon of energies around you where these things cannot affect you. There are various ways of preventing somebody else influencing your thought. So, I'm also willing to plant a thought in you, more than a thought in you. I can plant an explosive in you if you want. Not a bomb, an explosive. You know there's a difference? Bomb is purely destructive. An explosive can be used in so many ways, isn't it? If you want, I can plant an explosive. Why? Just a thought. If you simply say boom, it goes. I can plant an explosive of ecstasy if you want. If you simply close your eyes, lots of people, if they just close their eyes, their eyeballs will go pop. Why? Just a thought. Thought is a rudimentary thing, very surface thing. We can plant energy into you in such a way that it guides your life wherever you are, whatever you may be. There are better technologies than thoughts. You have to be on. First and foremost thing is, you must create an ambience of sweetness of emotion. This is devotion. That is a sustained sweetness of emotion. Oh, whom shall I fall in love with here? Believe me, even a child knows it's not going to work. So, whom shall I fall in love with so that I'll have sweetness of emotion? Believe me, nobody is reliable. You must trust me, I have 3 lifetimes of experience. Everybody is fine for off and on. Is there somebody who'll pour you with sweetness of emotion every moment of your life? There is no such human being. Even those who were married to supposedly gods, even they went up and down. Look at Parvati, look at Sati, look at Satyabhama, look at Rukmini, all up and down, more up and down than your wives and husbands. At least many of your spouses are feeling elevated because you're spending a lot of time in the ashram. Relief is a big thing. So, people believe with love affair they're going to become full of love. With marriage, they're going to concretize this sweetness. Or once you have children, it's sweetness and sweetness. That's not the way life works. It happened one day. A freeloading young man who was coming back from his nightly party at 8 a.m. in the morning, bumped into his father, who was a rich stockbroker who was rushing to his brokerage office. Then the son, who was in a gay mood, said, "Have a great day, Dad." The father looked at him and said, "Thank you, my son, but why are you telling me this?" The son said, "Well, Dad, if you have a great day, I will have a great day." So, there are schemes inside schemes, okay? Let's not go into that. But what devotion means is, you create a love affair that doesn't need outside assistance. Simply, you fall in love with something. You know, a lot of people have chosen to fall in love with God because steady. Men and women are not reliable, dogs die too soon. God, it's a very intelligent love affair because you can shape it whichever way you want, because a love affair is meaningful not because of what happens between two people, it's meaningful because of the sweetness that it fills you with. Now you're in love with a divine entity. If it is energetically active, it's even better because it's even responding. Or you have become receptive to what is always on. But nothing can go wrong with a love affair because there's no expectation as to what the other should do. Once there is no expectation of what the other should do, this is a successful love affair. You agree with me? Love affair goes bad because somebody does not fulfill your expectations, isn't it? So you fall in love with an entity just for this. This is pure love, just for the love of it, not because of what you will get. So, always you're filled with sweetness. If the ambience of sweetness is there within you, the sadhana that you're doing will multiply in its fold. And the passage or the pathway becomes shorter, shorter and shorter, depending upon if you are joyful, if it is this long. If you're blissful, it'll become this long. If you're ecstatic, it'll become this much. The pathway becomes this long or this short because the ambience of ecstasy is on. I've had the misfortune of seeing so many people around me. I get them to a place where they're this close, but you leave them for one day, straight back. This is it's a misfortune of being a guru. Any number of times you bring people to so close, but when you get that close, you have to leave them there because it's after all, realization is yours, not somebody else's. You thought you brought them this close and anyway they will take the next step, but no. Because one of the biggest problems is the way you're educated, where there is no value for emotion, there's only value for the silly intellect that you carry. which creates any number of problems on a daily basis with just about everybody. You can't get along with anybody the moment you think you're reasonably intellectual, isn't it? And you cannot even get along with the source of creation because you're so intellectual, you are a world by yourself. You cannot live in the Creator's creation anymore, you are in your own creation. If you're in your own creation, this is not an achievement. Instead of being an existential being, you have become a psychological case. That's the transformation that's achieved. Is it a useless instrument? Not at all. It is useful, but it is supposed to make you realize this is not the way. It's good to multiply, add, divide, subtract. When I say add, divide, multiply, subtract, I'm talking about everything. About making money, getting married, multiplying into children, getting divorced, dying one day, all this. Everything is addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Isn't it so? Yes or no? You don't like it. The arithmetic of it is just that. Either you do addition or subtraction or multiplication or division. With the physical world, that's all you can do. For this, intellect is great. Without it, you will not succeed in these chores that you have to do. But you want to know not bits and pieces of creation, you want a taste of Creator in your mouth, then this will slit your tongue into many pieces and you can't taste anything. So those of you who are flickering like tube lights, one day bright and shining, another day boof, it's time. It's time to change the ambience. A silly intellect that's not worked for this many years, don't expect it's going to save you tomorrow. It will not. It's time. Devotion is a powerful thing. It takes intelligence to recognize that if you… between your intellect and your emotion, if you look at it, maybe you don't have ecstasy in you, maybe you have no love in you, maybe you have no compassion in you. When you get angry at least, when you're angry, check which is a bigger force within you right now, emotion or intellect. That you must put it. Because what is strongest in you, you must use that. That is intelligence, isn't it? I want you to check it for yourself. Your intellect is a bigger force or your emotion is a bigger force. The only thing is, emotion can take different forms. It can take very sweet and wonderful forms, it can take absolutely nasty and horrendous forms. So first thing is to train it to take a sweet form, to take a beautiful form. Once it takes a beautiful form, your intellect will mean nothing to you, really. Everything that's worth knowing, you will know by embrace, not by conquest. Conquest is a wasteful effort. Because even if you conquer, you will still not achieve anything. If you conquer this world, what are you going to do? Are you going to spread yourself around the world? You'll still be in the same one place, isn't it? You can just look powerful in front of other people. Let's say you are Alexander the Great. You conquered half the world or the whole world. You are Alexander Great. You conquered the whole world. But let's say there are no people on the planet, nobody to clap their hands and say, you are great. You are sitting alone here, what will you do? I want you to imagine this. You got billions of dollars, but you're sitting alone here. What do? You need somebody to tell you you're great, you're great. You need idiots around you to tell you that you're fantastic. Otherwise you'll feel horrible, isn't it? But if your emotions turn sweet, if you sit here alone, tears of ecstasy will come. In fact, you will want to be alone because it's too beautiful when you're alone. It's time to change the ambience because the sadhana that's been given to you in the form of the kriyas and the asanas, whatever, these are powerful forms. Your body and your energy is maturing, but your head is not maturing for a lot of you. This is a fact, I'm seeing every day. I see energy-wise, body-wise, things are maturing. This is not maturing, it's always in the way. It's time to do something about it.
Song to show how thankful I am. Not enough, but what I can. You are my perfect mirror, you show me what I'm not. In the endless pit of what once was me, layer and layer you peel off me. The pain it is, but the joy it brings. So thank you for showing me what I'm not, for showing me what I could be. Thank you endlessly. But if I could only just be, you could show me all the things I would be willing enough to see. You are the only thing that is taken away the pain I've known, the pain I've known. Hopeless, I was hopeless, and nothing else would do. You saved me, yes, you saved me. So thank you for making it rain inside, for shedding those tears I'd hide. Thank you, I thank you. Thank you for showing me love within, for what would have taken me years, lives if not years to see. But ooh, if I could only give in, you could take me on a journey, no beginning, no end. Help me, help me, help me surrender totally. You are my special angel. You found me when I was out of places to go, of people to which to turn. Joyless, I was joyless. You came and you caught me over the hanging cliffs of misery. So thank you for showing me joy within, helping me release my sin of not